What's up, guys? Hoke here, and today we're going to be doing a review. Now, I've said I'm going to do more than just games on my channel, so I thought let's do other stuff with controllers. And today we're actually going to be doing an unboxing / review of this RC here. Now, I say unboxing, but I have actually already unboxed it and used it. And I want to go over it with you guys. This is going to be kind of short because, well, not a whole lot of testing we do, and I'll get into why in a sec. Now, this is the WLtoys 12429. This is the exact same as the WLtoys 12428 and the 28B and the 28C and all of its other variants. It's the same thing, just with a different body on it and some different body mounts. So they have to give it a completely different one-digit number than the 28. So this is 1/12 scale, 4-wheel drive. Actually comes with a lithium-ion battery, which is this guy right here, which is actually charged. I have charged it, which I'm actually very impressed. A lot of the time you see RCs come with batteries and they're not lithiums, and then at some point you're going to want to upgrade to a lithium. This comes with a lithium. Now, it's not a LiPo, but it is a lithium. Let's unbox this thing. So the story with this thing, and as I said, I've already unboxed it. I got this on eBay for actually $10 cheaper than brand new. Now it is brand new, but I figured I got it on eBay for $10 cheaper than if you just bought it off of one of those higher end sites. And boy, oh boy, did I pay for that one, because this thing doesn't work. Now, it does work, I'm not going to lie, it runs, but it's got a bad ECS, or ESC. I still confuse the two. Basically, the electronic speed controller in here actually is faulty, and I will show you guys that in a second. But a quick overview of what this comes with. You got a charger, you got the battery. It actually comes with a battery, which is nice, because some kits don't even come with a battery. It's got a manual here. We got the car itself, and the radio. It also comes with a couple little tools here that you might need for tire change or taking out some screws. Now, before we get to the car, let's go over the other stuff. So, of course, like I mentioned, lithium battery. This battery is, I believe, 1500 milliamps. It's got two connectors. You got the charging connector on here, and then you got a little T connector for plugging into the car. And then right here is the charger. This is actually a USB charger. This does have an indicator light on it that lets you know when it's done charging. So when you plug in the battery, it'll blink red, and when it's done, it shuts off. And so if you don't see the light, it lets you know it's good to go. Next thing is the radio. Now, this radio is honestly a very cheap looking radio. I've held a couple other radios. I don't have really any other RCs right now, but compared to others that I've held, this is actually pretty cheap. I mean, you got some cheap plastics. You've got a little battery tray. You do have to supply your own AA batteries here. You got a little steering wheel right here. It does have proportional steering, but the servo actually on the RC itself is a little bit bad. It's not very reactive right now, so that's another thing that is wrong with it. But the steering wheel, it's very nice. It's got a little foam tire on it to try to give you some grip. It's got on-off switch, and then it's got this button here that says mode. Now, this button is worthless. I've already looked at the entire manual, and this doesn't do anything. If you do know that it does something, let me know, but I noticed no difference when you push that thing. We've got throttle here. Of course, this is forward, reverse. It was actually very responsive. I'll show you a little bit of how it works, but if it works long enough. So you got the throttle. This is actually a throttle adjustment. You turn this and it'll actually kind of adjust the speed of the RC. And then this is your steering trim, so when you hit it and you're not steering, it adjusts how straight it goes, because sometimes your RC might lean a little bit coming out of the box and it'll start going right even though you haven't really turned the wheel yet. But all in all, it does the job. This radio does the job. Not the best in the world compared to some that I've seen. Doesn't have any of these fancy screens. It's only got some simple adjustments, but it does the job. All right, last thing this comes with is the manual. Now, this manual actually, when I watched a lot of reviews on this thing, because you got to do your research before you buy stuff like this. I watched a lot of reviews on this thing, and a lot of people had great reviews about the whole car and everything, but one thing that a lot of people always mentioned was how great the manual is. Now, that's kind of tricky. The manual is good. It gives you some basic troubleshootings, but it doesn't give you enough, honestly. It's got product info, you know, how to plug it in, but the biggest thing is it's got diagrams. It's got diagrams, and if I could flip the pages, it's got parts. Yes, you can buy spare parts for this thing, which is very nice. There are lots of sites that you can buy these spare parts. You can actually buy a lot of upgraded parts. There are a lot of companies that make aftermarket parts, be it like steering links, shocks, honestly anything. You could add lights to this thing and all that. So, all right, to the main event. Here is the car. So, I mean, this thing, pretty impressive. It's got a pretty good amount of articulation, more in the back than in the front. So, I mean, that's how far you could go without the tire lifting up. So, it's kind of a crawler, but it's got more speed to it, so it's more of like a rock bouncer, like a Twin Hammers type thing. Not the body for it, though, but I specifically got this one because I like the body and how different it was compared to the other ones that just look like buggies and all that stuff. The front lights do not work. But you can add lights to them with the right mod. These lights do work, and they are always on. So anytime you turn the truck on, these are on. These are actually kind of indicator lights. When it's looking for signal, they'll be flashing. If there's something wrong, it'll be flashing. I'll show you guys that in a second. The tires, very grippy. Very nice tires. I mean, they feel like they've got some grip on them. A lot of squish in there. These are fake bead blocks. They are not actual bead blocks on there. So you can upgrade the wheels, of course, as you can do most RCs or most scale RCs. This thing, if you watch the reviews, the one thing you always see with these models in particular is how good the quality is. Yeah, most of the links are plastic, but it's actually a very durable, bendy plastic. It's got metal drive shafts in it, which is impressive. Another thing you always hear, a lot of people say that the motor is a very good motor. It's actually a very big motor. I think it's a 540, which is actually, according to a lot of people, is actually a very large motor. So, a lot of bounce in there. A lot of bounce in here. Now, they're not oil-filled shocks. You can actually see the shocks for the front are hidden in there, kind of F1 style. And then the shocks right here are in the back. These are not oil-filled. They're just friction shocks. But I have heard from people that you can put oil in them or modify them to do so. They do have spring adjustments. They're actually kind of hard to turn on this one, but you can turn this right here and that'll adjust the preload. It's got a plastic body and actually a functioning spare tire. Now this one's definitely got some foams in there. The main tires do not have foam. They literally just feel like they're filled with air. Now this one actually does have foam. It doesn't squish down as much as the other tires. So probably would have been nice that maybe they could just put foam in all of them. Foam can help sometimes, so that would have been great. But at least you get a nice functioning spare tire. Underneath, more of the little quality stuff here. I mean, you got main plastic drive shafts there, but it's got metal links on it. You got little, see the axles move there. It's got a front skid plate. There's the underneath. The on-off button is right there. Now, before I get to anything inside, I'm not going to take it apart because I will let you know right now, it's kind of a pain in the ass to take this thing apart. And when I say that, I mean to take the body off of the chassis, you have to take the screws out of the top of the suspension right there. So you have to actually disconnect the shocks. And then there are 4 other screws on the bottom here that you have to take off, and that will separate the body. And it's kind of a big pain in the butt, especially to get the shocks off, and ain't nobody got time for that right now. So I'll show you guys what the problem is or how much of it works, and then we'll go over my review and my suggestions. So to get this thing to work, you got to put the battery in it. Try to do this one-handed. So to do that, I'll try it with this hand. you have to remove these pins, and this actually folds out. And your battery tray is actually in there. So let's grab the battery here. Battery will go in there. And then you plug it in down there. Alright, so you guys didn't get to see me plug it in only because it's kind of hard to do with with one hand. But it's plugged in right there. So we're good to go. Just put this back to there and we'll put the body clips back on. Okay, quick disclaimer before we keep going. I am fairly new to RCs, so if you don't agree with a lot of stuff that I say because you are an RC person, I apologize for that. But I think I did enough research when I bought this thing to kind of understand how it all kind of works, because you have to watch a lot of videos and all that stuff, and you kind of get the grasp because there's a lot of knowledgeable people here. So quick disclaimer there. Alright, so we got the battery in. We've got 4 batteries in here. Oh, one tried to pop out there. But we got the 4 batteries in here. So we're going to turn this on. That'll blink. Let me go down here. Flip the turn off the switch. Alright, so you see the lights blink. Now it gains signal automatically. It's already kind of been paired. When it's looking for the remote, it's going to blink a couple times. Alright, so let's do this. It's going to be kind of hard to do one-handed, honestly, but again, we got a lot of boxes in the way. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a problem already. See, look. Normally, honestly, when I just freshly do this, it'll last a couple minutes and then jam like this. But it's actually, it did it first try. Now the steering still works. So this is the problem I'm talking about. We got gas. Nothing happens. But steering still works. And the lights are blinking, telling me there is a problem. So from what I've researched and what I have found is the electronic speed controller, basically the main controller of the whole thing, is faulty. It has a thermal cutoff inside, which is actually really nice. If you hold this thing and spin the tires, it'll actually cut it off so that you don't damage anything. The problem is, with this one at least, is it thinks it overheats too quick, even though it's not. I mean, this thing is cold, and the motor's pretty cold. I mean, you saw, I only ran it for like 10 feet, and then it was done. And apparently this is a common problem with a lot of these WLtoys ones. Now, I've seen a lot of people who have done reviews on this and use it, and they haven't had this problem at all. So it might be rare to you. You might buy one and it never has this problem. I actually have to buy the part, which I have actually done. I tried to return it, but the people I bought it from on eBay were very poor at replying, especially since they were halfway across the world. They wouldn't reply to anything until like 1 in the morning here. So that's made things pretty fun. So what I decided to do, instead of returning it, I bought the parts, which are actually going to take a couple weeks to get here. So I bought a new ESC. And I actually bought a new steering servo because the steering servo actually lags out a bit. There's some times where it doesn't even want to turn. Or if you are turning before you hit the gas, sometimes it actually won't go, which is kind of weird. So hopefully the new parts will fix this problem. But yeah, the ESC part is kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, I kind of bought this thing wanting to at least use it for a couple weeks before I had to do any upgrades or fixes, but instead I only used it for 10 minutes. I mean, I honestly got it to run for 20 minutes straight at one point when I first ever used it, but since then it's just wigged out every time. I don't know if I ran over something. I mean, I haven't taken it in anything crazy. I took it out in the dirt in my backyard and the pavement, so I wasn't going through mud or water or nothing, none of that stuff. So hopefully I'll give you guys an update on the fix, or if it fixes it. We'll go through replacing all that stuff. But I kind of wanted to go over it with you guys and maybe show you how cool this thing is. I mean, I think it's cool. Besides the fact that it's broken, I do really think this is a cool thing. I mean, this is a really cool rig. It's got some speed to it. It does have some minor crawling ability. Granted, I will be getting an actual crawler at some point. But I wanted to just go over this with you guys, show you what problems I ran into. I'll give you guys updates at some point. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like or a subscribe. That would be really awesome. I'll try to put more out for you guys. Until then, I will see you. Bye.